wanted to tell you about a local festival that we were able to attend not long ago here close to our city. It involves minority groups in the local southwestern part of China, although it's gaining interest in the whole country. But it's called the Torch Festival, and I'll show some pictures here in just a second of what it looked like. But this was a truly interesting festival. What I did learn is that it starts on the lunar calendar on the 6th month, from the 24th to the 26th day. So this year, 2019, it started July 27th. So here's a picture of what it was, and I'll tell you more about the origins of it in just a sec. The origin of this has several different stories behind it. Some are from a king and queen and a fire that happened between lovers. Another story is from a man that was very, very strong and challenged people to a wrestling match, because in parts of the culture there are wrestling matches. And then there's another story of someone that took the fire out to save their crops. Now, these are all things that I'm hearing that are hearsay. I do not know for sure how this happened. If you have heard a story, I'd love for you to leave a comment below and tell me what you heard it was, or maybe you even experienced this yourself and have heard a story from someone that told you, and I'd love to hear it. Leave me a comment below and tell me how you heard that this started. As we entered into the main part of the village, we came down through some homes and through some back alleyways, and it opened up to a center section where they would meet for not only their temple but for a local store. And in the very middle of it, you could not miss it, was the torch. And the torch was tall. It was bigger than I expected. I didn't know what to expect, but this was way bigger than I expected. So the torch, standing about 20 meters tall, was pine and bamboo kind of taped together all the way up to the very top. There were flags on the top and flags on the side, and it had some lettering on it, which I later found out that was for a hope of a good harvest. And since this is still a farming village, this is very accurate for them. They want a good harvest. So our festivities began in someone's home. We were invited into their home beforehand to have a meal. And the meal was all the food that they've grown from their own crops and their own harvest. All of the meat came from livestock that they raise. And this was in the center of their home. So here we are with them dining and enjoying a meal together. So from this wonderful meal, everyone in the whole village gathers back in the center courtyard that I was telling you about. And at this time, there's women that are dancing, there's women that are chanting and singing and offering up songs to the torch. And then as the evening goes, there's drummers that are drumming, and the drums don't really have rhythm or rhyme to them. It's just to keep any pests or varmints away from the crop, the harvest, because that's the livelihood, don't forget, of this whole season. They want to keep the crop growing. So as the evening goes, women come out in local traditional dress, which was beautiful, and they began dancing around the torch itself. And I got to join in one of these activities. Now, in the middle of this video, you'll see that someone takes my baby. Don't worry, it was someone that I had met earlier that evening, so I knew kind of who it was, and my husband wasn't far away. So these young men of the community climbed up into the tree, or into the torch they call it, and inside the torch then was something that I had never seen before. As they get to the very top, they would kind of hang out in there, and then a few minutes later they threw out, as signs of good luck, they would throw out crab apples and baozi, which are steamed buns with some stuff inside of it, some meat maybe, or some vegetables. And if you caught those, it was a sign of good luck, and it was exciting because you were strong enough to catch it and be there for it. So this was an exciting time. After they would throw these crab apples out, then they would wait for a little while, and everyone, the excitement's building. It's building for this, and then they would light the torch from the inside. There. And so the challenge then would be to get out. No one's ever been hurt, I asked. They would get out quickly down these ropes, down the ladder, and come down, and then the festivities of the torch lighting and the fire would begin. So from there, not around close to the base, but around the base of the torch would be mothers and grandmothers running around in hopes that their children would be well behaved. And so this is kind of an interesting tradition, because they believe that when they run around, this is what helps with the well-behaved children. And then they would start fireworks, and in China, fireworks are just huge and amazing. And then after that, the children of the community can have their own torch, and they run around. This is for prosperity. This also shows that they are helping with the crops. So this brings up the next generation of farmers for their families. What an interesting festival for us to go to. We counted it such an honor to be part of this and to be invited to it. And I really will write it down in my memory as one of the most special things that we've ever done, because we were invited into the home of these people for this really important time in their lives. Every year this happens, and hopefully we'll be able to go again next year.